Okay, so welcome to this preview video of the English Premier League for the upcoming weekend 10th, 11th, 12th and 13th of September. If you notice, I'm a bit... I just had a dental operation more or less, and it's still deaf all around here. I still wanted to record this video for you. And what you see here is the starting page of my Betmaster tool, which you can get access to as well. I'm allowed to drink, not to eat though. So you can get it and your access to that if you look into the description of this video. Like it, share it, comment on it, subscribe. Everything is free and is very welcome and will be answered. If you see this here, so you select your league, you go to the team settings, you will be directed there. So this is where you start from. And you see here that all the teams are of the same strength and of the same total goals, which is just a silly initialization. We do not need this really. I mean, it's useless. Now we go to the weighing of the previous campaigns, and I advise you to maybe do it 4 to 1, 0, 1 half. So it's twice the value of the last season. So you half of this for the one before, half of this, the one before. That is how the results will be counting if you want to initialize your settings, which you have to do to get some decent prices out. The Betmaster tool is designed to do all the calculations, and it's giving you some kind of assistance even in the initialization, but still you would be asked to input your own understanding of football. So, which is very welcome, I think, because you would like to. I mean, if you get bets from other sites, then you have to rely on them being good. And if they aren't, you're gonna lose money and you will be angry at them maybe also. But if you do this yourself, you write your own luck. I didn't expect it to be so difficult to speak. Right? Okay, now we weigh it like this, which means this is how much the results will count. If you want to know the whole algorithm behind it, of course, it's getting a bit more complex. Well, you could, first of all, you could, of course, admire this tool also and just look at results that are coming out, and you will have some bet proposals also, or you may tend rather to understand what it's doing. Is it the black box you appreciate, or would you rather know more and understand it all, or would you say, fine, as long as I know the bet OPA is giving me the advices, then I'm happy with what I got. The proposed home advantage. Now we come to some more difficult things about this initialization. First of all, we could store this already and we could compile prices. They wouldn't be so good, although they wouldn't be terrible either, you would notice. But we can, in fact, do some more adjustments to make it simply a bit better. And this is what I would advise. The problem is the home advantage. Is it going to be back, or is it... here you see how it was in the last season when there was no spectators allowed. It was no home advantage at all, or virtually you couldn't notice it. This is referring to the goals that had been scored. Every evaluation of a game, so if we look into more detail, a bit more into the functionality of the tool, then you have to say it's the goals to be scored and the goals to be conceded, which are being calculated here, first of all, for a start, and more or less that would be what Manchester City have scored per game in their home games. In their away games, they scored a different amount because it's more difficult in away games. But this is over the last 4 years or campaigns, and it is with a weighing. So if you would take all the goals together and divide it by the number of games, you would be close to this value, but not quite. And anyway, the calculation for a game is based on these goal expectancies, and also on the the goal expectancies for a single games are calculated by these values. And from the goal expectancies for a game, the computer compiles by simulation the probabilities for any outcome for a football game and even for a whole campaign. It can do this calculation by repeatedly doing this simulation. And the simulation is pretty deep as well. It contains some understanding of football. Of course, I can't explain all these things in one go. It is getting more difficult. There will be more videos to come, or I will refer to this here or there. You can also, of course, also get a personal coaching if you were interested in more details. The thing is, we do not know where the home advantage is going to end. We did have some before, of course, 1.1. That is about the average for all the for the whole of Europe or the whole world. You can always consider it 1.1, which means more or less divided by 2. Then you have the percentage of goals being scored by the home side. That's 55%. This is more or less it. If you see that it had been 1.1 or even a bit more, now that had been reduced and now it went up again for the couple of games played. So you may easily decide, I'm gonna set it to the standard value. And now if you shape this here, then you will see there are some differences now in this home factor, but they will be set to the same value. Like that, and it means we consider them all to be more or less the same in home games, which is very decent, and that's usually more in line with the market lines that other compilers do. And the same thing we could do with the goals, but for the goals we see Manchester City, Liverpool, they have 3.2, 2.9 goals per game, also Manchester United, and then it goes down for the lower teams, so we rather maybe leave those small differences. If you see here, there is a total goals. This is the sum of the goals to be scored and the goals to be conceded. And the sum of these two will be the average of home plus away divided by 2. So this is these are these two values, and this is more or less what they scored. So this is the sum of these two values, and this is the quotient. And the strength of the teams is rather measured in this quotient. So if you see Manchester City 2.8, it means they scored 2.8 times more goals than they conceded. And this is what the computer would have as a basis for the calculation for the next games. And also it is by this weighing of the... Now you can say, well, either you think this is a bit exaggerated, you go down a bit. Liverpool you may accept. Manchester United, they have improved a bit. You make it 1.8 maybe. Tottenham maybe proper, but maybe Chelsea, they improved a lot. Maybe even they are coming closer to Manchester City. This is now settings, adjustments that of course you have to get some experience in, but here you put in your understanding of football as well. If you think Liverpool are worse than Manchester United, go ahead. You can also drag these teams down and insert them somewhere else. I think otherwise it's pretty okay. Arsenal, they also improved a bit, but now they start losing their games. Now we set them to this value. It's not the end of the story. West Ham United maybe on this level. Leeds United on average. Aston Villa a bit below. Also Everton, that's pretty fair. Wolverhampton, Brighton played very well recently. So maybe 0.8. It's just minor changes. Newcastle maybe a bit too high. What do you think? Southampton looks like okay, but usually Arsenal market would also say they are a bit better. Brentford are a pretty good promoted side, that's what you see here. The others had been in the league, which makes a small mess of it here. But Brentford, I'm not sure where to put them, but maybe 0.7 is very decent. Burnley, Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Watford, just it's Norwich that because they got relegated 2 years ago, or 1 year ago, and so they had been playing Championship. And they had a terrible record, so maybe you should set them to 0.58, a bit better than they did perform. And now we would save these settings, because now you can, of course, first of all, if you know better about the goals to be scored, you can also shape these to the given average here. And we can normalize, which means then it would be everything balanced. So that's very advised to do that, but it's not going much wrong. Now you normalize this. Now you have the same values here. Now the quotient goes down a bit, because maybe we made a couple of teams a bit better, or so some of them lower, but which we haven't done. So they are all of them in normalized. It's 1.0. All the goals being expected to be scored are as well expected to be conceded. After you've done these couple of small steps, weighing, initialize, shape the home advantage, do some adjustments there, normalize it, and then you save this. We've done that. Now you can run through the past games, and the computer will evaluate these games and update the strengths according to the results. This is something, it's based on the update factor here, which means this is a decent setting there. You can play with this if you know a bit better. You make it, put it here or there. I had to explain on somewhere else how you would really work with this one. If it's 29 or 30, everything's fine. It's responsible for how you weigh results and update the strengths of the team accordingly. And now we're gonna finalize the past games. It takes a couple of seconds, so I should rather start it now. Now we can even have a look here at the Premier League in England, where we just have a look at the prices, and we can guess already, will the computer find some bets for us, which always means the same thing. If the price you get at market is better than the true price that the computer compiles. The true price is based on the probability we compile, the probability we compute for this certain thing to happen, Tottenham to win. It's a probability for it, and then we take the reciprocal of this probability. This is going to be the true price, and then we can compare this with the market price. Our assessment of the game with the market price. And of course, if we have an indication, which I consider if the price we get at market is higher than the true price. The true price is the reciprocal of the probability. So if the market price is higher than the true price, then we have an indication. We do not make a bet yet. We still consider, we think about it. Do we like Tottenham? Do we like Crystal Palace? Who's better? I mean, we know who's better, but maybe we change some settings even after we saw the price and we do not fully agree. I would say Tottenham could be a bet. Arsenal could even be a bet, because I think, well, we will see in a second. Even Brentford could be a bit too high. I'm not sure. Manchester City, that looks fairly decent. Southampton, no. Watford, Wolves, no. Chelsea, no. Either against Chelsea. Leeds, Liverpool, maybe even Liverpool. There is a small chance. There's an indication. That's my guesses, but I have no idea really. We will see that. It's running still the update, and then we will see the games, the upcoming games. You click on this, you click on this. And then we have the prices already, but I think rather we are going to compile the prices once again. You select all the games, now we compile. We check that carefully if we have any changes. It didn't appear to be to happen. But the results have taken their toll. I mean, they have had their effect. Upcoming, let's check once again, sorry. And now we compile once more. Oh, maybe I should have started, but I think, well, anyway, maybe it's a bit too big here. Anyway, it's Tottenham, it's compiling a price of 1.73. So in fact, the computer is really advising us to play Tottenham now. You still can consider. Also, the Arsenal guess was right. We have 153. Of course, we know they are bottom of the table. They lost all their games. But maybe it's their time to come. They did play a bit better, I think, than the results had been. Whereby Tottenham, in fact, I would think that looks like a decent bet. It's even a derby palace in London, but I wouldn't insist, right? The Brentford is not indicated. We can check that because Brentford is 287. We only have 280. We accept that. Brighton are a good side. Brentford, maybe they started off brightly. Brighton are bright and Brentford started brightly. We can always check this in the table, and here we will even have the comparison to what we expected. And we see Tottenham have, of course, way too many points. West Ham, they are green. Even Manchester United with 7 points, better than expected. Also the goals scored are 7-2. We expected 6-3. They are better. And so on. Of course, Chelsea with their 7 points, 5.28 expected, 6-1 goals, 4.89, 3.06 expected. Brighton did have a bright start. Oh no, Brighton, I said talked about Brentford. Where are Brentford? I mean, I have to check the table. Anyway, we know they are also in for a good start with 5 points after 3 games, which is clearly better than expected. Unbeaten still, but Brighton also better than expected, and so on. And you could even check that with the home and away records, which is after these few games, of course, not that telling us so much. About Arsenal, we know what happened. They lost their games, they lost them by a margin, they couldn't score a goal yet. But also Norwich didn't play well. So I would keep this one alive. This one is gone. About the Leicester Man City, we can once again check that. 177. So this looks, yeah, we can't bet Manchester City. We might even consider 5.3 on Leicester, which would be a slight indication. Well, I mean, why not? But 5.3, we won't win every day, right? But market is a bit, and we set them down a bit. Maybe we shouldn't have done so. If you wish to correct such a thing, now we have 2.75. Maybe we make it back to 2.85. That's where they started from, also, and we can still the shaping I haven't done, or the normalize I should rather do when I do such a change, but as I said, it's not such a huge impact. And now we have, once again, I'm landing on the current round. The computer still considers that one the current one. Okay, we compile the price once again for this game and check what it is. 4.54. Not much of a change now. It's even 182, which is a bit confusing once again, but as I said, I didn't store it after we went through the games. Maybe I should have stored that, and so these minor things have taken their toll now. We can look at the table once again and look at with the expectancies. Manchester City lost their first game, so the 6 points are not quite what we expected. 10-1 goals. Of course, they lost 0-1 in the first game. I saw that. Of course, very disappointing, but they were clearly the better side. Who did they play then? You will remember, I don't at the moment, but I saw the game. They were clearly. It was like Juve against Empoli, 0-1. It's also in the Serie A, right? So anyway, I think we are we don't have to bet on Leicester. You don't need to. I mean, we accept that Manchester City are such a strong side. They lost the game already, but if you think that's worth it, you can still do a bet on Leicester. Manchester United 136. That's of course not indicated. They all love Manchester United now after Ronaldo returned. I'm not sure, but I trust these figures here. But I wouldn't go with necessarily with Newcastle, although computer says yes. But I'm a bit uncertain also about Newcastle. We could, I set them down a bit, but they are considered maybe even to be a bit weaker. For the Southampton, I was happy. Although now 285, yeah, that's very close, but there's no bet. This is the true price once again. Watford against Wolves, we have this. It's very decent what we calculate here. Watford 330. It might consider slightly because 311 is the true price. Why not? I mean, if you dare, it's an indication. I wouldn't do it because I rather there's small deviations. We don't. Yeah, if you like it, you go for it, and if you like your settings, you go for it. And if you well. And Chelsea are, you just simply observe it, right? Chelsea, of course, there would be an indication on Aston Villa not to lose the game. But now Chelsea, at the moment, they are just hyped. But that's why you get this price. If you like Aston Villa, I may click this here. You see the bets in the end. Where's my... well, you see them here. And Leeds, we have to check now. I mean, I had to bet that. Of course, we have to calculate the X2 price, which we can also do here if you take the double chance. Now we would have to compile this. I'm improving on this tool at the moment, so it's compiling all the markets in one go. We don't need to recompile them here, but let's check it. Oh, now it's compiling the whole. I should have selected just this one match day, right? Now it's going to compile the whole. The whole season for all the X2 prices, but just on the basis of the current strength, which doesn't make so much sense, right? But it went through already. So we can check the X2 price on Chelsea against Aston Villa. It's 331. As I said, it's a marginal indication, so I'm gonna skip that, right? It's not a bet. So I'm going back to the 1x2 market. I just wanted to show you have plenty of these possibilities to compile the markets you want to bet on. Now we go back to this one. The order here is not quite the same. But which games did we have to check? The Liverpool game. We have 177. You see that? I was guessing maybe an indication, and 177 is right on the true price. So if you like it, I like it somehow. Because I always think in some sense that Liverpool could even, the last campaign they didn't play so well, although, well, they were a bit unlucky and then it was too far to go, right? But maybe they can come back to that, right? What 177, you wouldn't make a mistake to. Everton 173, that is too low. I think it's 2.02. So maybe we could even go with Burnley. With the X2. Well, that would be good enough because 2.1 means we pay a 190 on Everton and the computer says the true price on Everton is 2.02. We pay a 190, so that we could do, according to the computer, market likes Everton a bit, maybe a bit more, but maybe if we compare it here, how did they do? 210, 7 points, and Burnley, I have to scroll down here, 1 point only. So you say, well, okay, I accept market. They underperformed and the others overperformed. And it's not a huge margin, so we skip that one. And so we have 3 bets, in fact, and we have 3 favorites. We did have the chance to go with this dog. Watford slightly. Brentford is not far away. Southampton is not far away. We could go for the X2 also in the Manchester United match. So there are some chances. Also possibly the 1x in Leicester Manchester City was a small indication that I still would not recommend, but you saw that, and of course you're very welcome to take this to yourself. You can do these settings quickly also with me together, but when you see it happening here, you see it's not such a massive work. You would have the over-under as well. We could compile these and check them, but it's not so interesting. Usually earlier in the season, in the campaign, we have to rather wait a while until you get some deviations which do make sense. But I'm not gonna go through the over-under now. But you see here that you have the 2.5 line, for example. Everything is compiled on basis of this. If we look at the Crystal Palace Tottenham over-under 2.5, we get a 2.1, so it's even an indication here. So if you like it, you can bet it, and actually computer says it's a good bet. I'm not gonna go through them, but although it's always interesting, the over-under, but early season we rather, well, for the over-under it's even a bit more difficult, but it's also, I'm just leaving you now from this video. So thank you very much for watching, and see you again soon. Bye bye.